I'm Michael Kaplan, and welcome to the Brain Injury Insider. Today, we're tackling an often overlooked issue in forensic neuropsychology: the assessment of Spanish-speaking adults. As the Hispanic population in the United States continues to grow, lawyers and experts face new challenges when language and culture interact with brain injury evaluations. These issues were raised in an interesting article published in the journal Brain Injury and entitled Considerations in the Neuropsychological Assessment of Spanish-Speaking Adults. The issues identified are pertinent to all foreign-speaking clients undergoing a neuropsychological assessment. Neuropsychological evaluations are designed to measure brain function, but most of these tools were developed and standardized for English-speaking Western populations. When these tests are applied to non-native speaking clients without appropriate cultural and linguistic changes, the results can be misleading and in forensic contexts can have serious consequences. A key concern is that a test score may reflect cultural bias and may be misinterpreted. For example, a client's score could come from limited English ability, differences in educational background, or even the degree to which they're adapted to U.S. culture. These concerns affect how the test taker understands test questions. The score, which may not make sense in the context of the injury and in the context of other test scores, may then be tried to be used against the individual by a scheming, dishonest defense neuropsychologist. Not all Spanish speakers are the same. The article notes that linguistic variations, such as regional dialects, can change the meaning of common words. A test translated into Spanish isn't automatically culturally fair. Language carries cultural meaning, and a word-for-word translation doesn't account for how people think, reason, or express knowledge. Culture also matters. Studies show that Hispanic individuals with a traumatic brain injury, a TBI, often perform differently on symptom validity measures compared to English-speaking clients, not because of the injury itself, but because of cultural norms around education, self-expression, and help-seeking. For attorneys, this means caution is essential when relying on neuropsychological test results involving Spanish-speaking clients or others whose native language is not English. Misinterpretations can occur if the evaluator isn't culturally competent or fluent in the language of the testing. Using interpreters or translating materials can introduce subtle distortions, affecting everything from memory scores to symptom validity tests. When cross-examining experts, attorneys should ask, was the test normed on Spanish-speaking populations? Did the examiner consider the client's cultural education? Was the test conducted in the client's dominant language? If the answers are no, the reliability of these results may be questionable, and that can be pivotal in determining damages, competency, or disability. Attorneys must make sure evaluations of Hispanic or Latin clients are both linguistically and culturally valid. Neuropsychologists should either be fluent in Spanish or collaborate closely with a qualified bilingual professional. Reports should also reveal test limitations, the language of administration, and how cultural factors were addressed. Ultimately, cultural and linguistic competence isn't just good practice. It's a legal necessity for fair and correct forensic assessments. Understanding the person behind the test score is key to justice in every brain injury case. Thanks for joining me this week on the Brain Injury Insider. If you want to help change the conversation around brain injury, please consider sharing this information. Consider subscribing. I look forward to you joining me next week on a new edition of the Brain Injury Insider.